it's obviously just breaking. There's some stuff popping on social media. However, I think you started to see Joe Biden make efforts to reach out to the Sanders folks. Just a few weeks ago, even in the past few days, saying he's not going to be my vice president, but he's going to be integral in the formulation of some policy ideas. And I think one of the reasons that Biden needs to do that is because you look at the polling that suggests that about 15% of Sanders voters, supporters, said that they would not support Joe Biden and might vote for President Trump. That's a significant number if you look at that number, or they would stay home. So I think the Biden people are going to bend over backwards to try to get and praise Bernie Sanders for the run that he made, even though he was a thorn in their side all the way along.
Brett, what about the fact that you have, so you have some Sanders supporters say, I'll never vote for Joe Biden. Ben, you have other Democrats who are on social media doing these draft Andrew Cuomo for president ideas because maybe they're not completely settled on the idea that Joe Biden would be the best person to take on President Trump. So the significance of Bernie Sanders saying, I'm not dropping out completely, I'm suspending, and maybe he's going to see how it plays out at the convention.
I think that this will be a speech where he probably endorses Joe Biden, and suspension of a campaign essentially means dropping out. I find it hard to believe he's going to push this, kind of weight all the way to the convention, and like Elizabeth Warren may, slow walk it, but eventually get behind Joe Biden. Biden is the guy with the delegates, and Andrew Cuomo is not running. So this is what the Democrats have, and they're, I think, going to rally their base and rally the horses to get behind Biden.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Peter Doocy was talking, Brett, about how it's not just about a candidacy for Sanders. It's a movement. It's a revolution. And so he wants to, at the very least, keep that alive. And this is somebody who did far better than Democratic leaders expected in 2 presidential runs now, not just 1.
Think about all of the Democratic policies that changed over the evolution of Bernie Sanders from 2016 to 2020. Think about health care, just health care alone, where Obamacare, at the beginning of it, they were bending over backwards to say that it was not a camel's nose under the tent towards government-run health care or total Medicare for all back in those days. Now that is, the camel is fully under the tent. It's not just the nose, and they are 100% behind Medicare for all in one shape or another. And Joe Biden's evolved on that as well. So his movement has changed policy-wise the Democratic Party.
You go back to, obviously, the African-American vote. You go back to his messaging on health care. You also go back to his messaging with women voters and how he struggled there, Brett.
Yeah, I mean, he had some bumps in the road, clearly, that he could not get that coalition to expand. And for all of the talk about how it was broadening out and he was getting younger voters. And remember in New Hampshire, the speech in which he said, this was the beginning. And then you had Nevada. And to Peter's point, it did look at some time like the Democrats were going to really go with Bernie Sanders. But then South Carolina happened, and that was the turning point. And Joe Biden's kind of phoenix from the ashes in South Carolina changed the entire dynamic of the race, more than any other single political moment that we've seen in recent years.
All right, Bret Baier is going to stand by with us, and we're going to take a quick break, Ed.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll find out in a few moments whether Bernie Sanders is going to endorse Joe Biden or not. That's coming up.